Welcome back everyone to episode number 3 of Frames and Grains. As everyone knows, unfortunately with this COVID stuff going around, it's hard for people to go out and do things that they enjoy doing, such as photography for me. Maybe for some other people it's bicycle riding, and maybe for some other people it's just to people watch at the park. So it's been hard to go out and take new pictures for the channel, specifically with my film camera, because obviously with the digital camera you got it right away. So what I did, I hopped in a time machine and went back about 5 years, and what we're going to talk about today, the pictures we're going to talk about today, are some of the very first pictures I took in Korea and some of the very first pictures I took in film photography in general. So the camera I had in Korea was a black and silver Canon AE1 program. In Korea there are a lot of camera markets there. There is, well, the only one I ever went to is called Chungmuro Camera Market. So if any of you ever go to Korea or are in Korea, make sure you check that place out. So this first picture you see is of a friend of mine, Brian Bird, great guy, F-15 crew chief. We had just stopped into a film store somewhere in Korea, just checking out the lenses, the films, the cameras they had in stock. The second picture is just a random picture I decided to take while on my way to Seoul from base, about a 45-minute train ride, nothing too long. These next two pictures are of another friend of mine, Paul Willett, and unfortunately for many of my friends, when I'm out and about with them with my camera, they end up turning into my models, my unpaid models. Sometimes I'll pay them in gum though. So with these two pictures, I wanted him in focus at the very end of this staircase or alleyway, whatever you want to call it. And the second picture, I wanted the motorcycle helmet in focus. Next couple of pictures are just random ones I took on our way to the city. A man on a motorcycle, a random lady and her twin, not really her twin, but they're dressed very similarly, taking naps on the subway. The one of the bottles is pretty dark, not a lot of detail in it, but you can still make out that there's one random green bottle in the back, which is what I was trying to take a picture of. This one is of a staircase going up and down. I intentionally took it sideways, or have it left sideways instead of up and down. I just think it makes for an interesting picture. Sometimes it throws people off when I show it to them. A random mural. I think this is near Yongsan or Yongsan, which is where an army base is. So here my wife is sitting in the middle of a highway on our way to New Mexico. I figured it'd be a good place to take a good picture, just wide open landscape, something low to the ground. This picture of my two dogs, Arnold on the left and Helga on the right, is one of my favorite pictures of them, just the way they look in the camera. It's almost like an old school photograph where they're not necessarily looking at the camera. I had it printed, I think 12 by 12 square frame, custom made over at Jones Photo. So again, shout out to Jones Photo if you guys ever want to have your film developed, pictures printed, frame made here in Tucson locally. They've been here since 1947, so be sure to hit them up when you guys have a chance. I'm sure all of you have seen pictures of lightning strikes in either photographs, magazines, well, of course in photographs, magazines, newspapers, movies, so on and so forth. And I've always wanted to take one of those pictures, but I've never been too sure of how to do it. Unfortunately, there were some water drops on the window itself. Not too distracting, but I'm sure it would have been a lot better picture had they not been there. Definitely one of my all-time favorite, possibly one of my best pictures ever. Here you see, at the time, my girlfriend, now my wife, snapping a picture of me. That camera she has is a black and silver AE1 program that I bought her for Christmas in 2017, I believe. We were somewhere in Phoenix, can't remember where. It was my first time really walking around in Phoenix. Here is another picture of her, my beautiful wife. And here is one of Arnold. This was at my apartment complex about 3 years ago or so now. Here is another one of Arnold and Helga in Santa Monica. These last 5 pictures are from my first deployment. Here is one of a friend of mine, William Flores. I've known him since 2015 when I got to Korea. Great guy, great mechanic. This one is of my friend Sergeant Fletcher, now or soon to be Master Sergeant Fletcher. Congrats to him. This picture was taken when we were close to going back home, so about early January, pack out time. And this last picture is fortunately one I took inside of a C-130. We were finally going home. Didn't have to deal with no more of the nonsense, crazy weather, hot days, cold days, incoming alarms of Kandahar Airfield. And I didn't try to take the picture this way. I just pointed the camera to the back of the C-130 and took a picture, and it came out really good, surprisingly. I like the way the cargo just fades into the light of the open ramp on the C-130. And with that being said, this is the end of episode number 3. I did want it to be longer, but I've already been taking my time with it. It's been 3 days since this episode was supposed to be put on my channel. I did want to show some pictures taken with my Fuji, my digital camera, but the video's already at about 7-8 minutes, and I just don't want to spend any more time on this video, making it longer than it needs to be. So the pictures I took for Thanksgiving with my digital and my film cameras will be left for episode number 4, which will hopefully be put out or uploaded in about 4 days, 3 to 4 days. So F and G out. See you guys next time.